Good morning, Internet fans. It's Ryan Perry with Simple Biz Support. Today is Thursday, November 20th. Therefore, it's Internet Marketing Thursday. And as usual, I have Virginie Dorn with Business Website Center down in Petaluma on the other line. Good morning, Virginie. You got to unmute. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm back. Well, good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I opened up my mini blinds because it's raining. So although you see the office across the way from me, we can't see out your mini blinds anymore. So I thought I'd open mine to show that it is raining in Northern California. Um, so I'm trying to stay dry. How about yourself?
Yes, well, we love the rain here. You know, we don't get a lot of it, so when we do, we try to appreciate it. It's not the blizzard like everybody else is experiencing.
Oh yeah, Buffalo. Holy, have you seen the video of the snow cloud that just came over the lake? It's just crazy.
Uh, I'll Google for it.
Oh, I would be like, it's like a sand cloud, the
Mhm.
Middle East gets those dust clouds and it's just miles high and it's just a stream of sand. Same thing, but snow just coming off the lake. And then, what they got like um, a year's worth of snow in 48 hours or something crazy like
I've
that.
heard
But
that.
we should probably be talking about internet marketing stuff. So part of the reason why we talked about Buffalo and snowstorm is because now that's going to be when I transcribe this audio, it's going to be part of the text. So maybe it'll show up and people will randomly go, geez, I was searching for a Buffalo snowstorm and I got this SEO blog thing for some really weird reason. So we should probably talk about sitemaps and how beneficial sitemaps are to your website, what they are, why they're important, where do you get them, how do you do them, and so forth. So today's episode is just about everything you want to know about sitemaps. And Virgin, if we could start with a real basic, brief description of what a sitemap is and why Google highly recommends that you have one.
Sure. So, what is a sitemap? Typically, it's a file with an XML extension, though it could be HTML, and it's a file you place on the server where your website is hosted. And just as a little side note, Google does favor the XML extension compared to the HTML, but both will do. So you truly don't need a sitemap, but when you do that, when you don't have a sitemap available for search engine, you're waiting for them to come and see you. And it's most likely the search engine bots are going to miss some of the pages or maybe deeper into your website. So for instance, if you have a page ABC, then links to EDF and links to HIG, most likely the HIG page, when it's deep into the site, is not going to be crawled by your bots like Google bot, and it's going to be missed, and that means it's not going to be indexed. By having a complete sitemap, you're indicating to the bot, oh, those are all the pages that are on my site. Please take a look at all of them, and if you like them, index them on page 1. So that's the true purpose of a sitemap.
Right. So, and then for basic layman terminology, the way I've always looked at a sitemap is two different ways. One, it's a roadmap of your website so that when Google comes in, it can actually look at a document, and on this document it says, look, I have all of this content, and this is exactly where you need to go in order to find it. So you talked about ABC being connected to DFG, connected to HIJ. Without a map, Google may say, hey, you're making me work too hard. I'm only going to go down to the second page, and I'm never going to find this third page. And as this third page is an important part of your business, if Google never puts it in their database, as far as Google's concerned, it doesn't exist, and therefore you will never be found on a Google search. Where if you give them a roadmap that says, hey Google, go down this road, which is connected to this road, which connects to this road, we have some great content there. And that, for me, is why it's really important to have a sitemap. So then the big question is, if we understand why it's important to have a sitemap, back in the old days, before WordPress and plugins, when you had just a straight HTML site, you had to build this thing, or you had to go to a website that would create it for you. So what do you do? What do you do today? What's like the modern way of creating a sitemap?
A good question. So first, technically, a sitemap can only have, I think, 50,000 URLs. So you should be fine. If you are a huge website anyway, you will require a programmer, and you can have a sitemap index and have several sitemaps. But if you're like all of us, normal people, you can actually go to free sitemap generators online, and I will show you one of them, which I love. It's been on for several years, does very good quality code. And you can generate a sitemap all by yourself. And typically for the free services, you can have up to 500 pages, which truly is most of the websites out there. Unless you have a shopping cart and you're selling thousands of products, each of our product, if the site is coded properly, will represent a page. In that case, those free services you will find also has a paid version with unlimited pages. But again, perhaps we can take a look at the free one I like to use.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and do a screen share. And then now, is this something you would recommend for people who are on WordPress also?
Yes. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, versus using a plugin.
Well, plugin will work fine if you're on WordPress. If you have a combination WordPress site, custom site, or WordPress and something else, then you want a real sitemap.
Okay, and just so you know, right now your screen is black. We're not seeing
I
anything
don't
at
know
all.
why. So
And
let me try again.
the other, yeah, while you're figuring that out, now I have you. While you're figuring that out, the only reason I bring up WordPress and plugins is the nice thing about a plugin is that if you're blogging on a regular basis, when a new page is created, the plugin will automatically see that new page and add it to the sitemap automatically. That way you're not having to manually update it. So, all right, your screen's live, so I'm going to let you take over.
Okay, so you're seeing everything there? You see xml-sitemaps.com?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a domain name I like to go. It's free of charge. It will, again, render 500 pages for you. If you need more, we do have a pro service and an unlimited sitemap. I think it's like $20, so absolutely worth it. Super user-friendly. You don't have to be a coder or have any knowledge of coding to do it. Today, I actually have to create a sitemap for a client we'll be launching this afternoon. So you will need to know what the domain name of your website is, of course. So we're going to go to this company. I have it already open. I'm going to copy the URL, go back to xml-sitemaps.com. And if you look here, very straightforward, it's asking you to enter the full HTTP address of your website. So I'm including it. If it asks you how often do you change your website, so for them, I would say it's going to be about weekly. So we're going to do this. Try to be as accurate as possible because you don't want to say I'm changing it daily or by the hour because the bots are very smart, and if they see you lying and you're not changing content for 6 months, then it's going to stop crawling your sitemap. So for them, it's about weekly. We typically left the use server's response is the default and the best one for you. A priority, keep it as none, will work just fine. And we're just going to click start. It takes maybe a minute or so, depending on how big the site is. This is a fairly small website, should not take very long.
Okay. Now, from the looks of it, now I haven't used a sitemap generator because I'm primarily WordPress site, so I've always used a plugin. But back in the day, they wouldn't actually automatically recrawl your website and look for updates. Will this website do that for you?
Not the free version.
Okay, not the free version, but what if you buy the pro version? Do you know?
I believe it does have that capability. Okay. So there's a lot of them out there. They're all similar in services. They're all based on the same principle. I'm just showing if maybe you have a website, you're not going to add a lot of pages. You can actually have a sitemap for your, for instance, we do a lot of custom sites, and if someone wants a blog, we will integrate WordPress into their custom site. So we will typically have a regular sitemap, just like this one on the server, but we can put a plugin like you were mentioning on the WordPress portion of it.
Okay.
And that's totally acceptable.
Okay, just so you know, we got about 4 minutes left. So once the website has actually created the sitemap, I'm assuming it's going to create a file. So what do we do with that file?
So currently I can just save it to my desktop. Just going to put it there. And I'm going to upload it into this client's website. So I'm already done. Again, we don't have a lot of time. If you don't know how to do it and you want to do it on your own, you can just give us a call, for instance. We'll be happy to help you. Where is my sitemap now?
Right, because this does take a little bit of technical expertise in the sense that basically if you go into this website, it's crawling your website, it's putting together that map for you, therefore it's called a website map. It's putting that together for you in a file, but that file does you no good if it's not on your website. So typically you would need to FTP and copy and paste that file into your home directory, I'm assuming. That way when the Google bots come in, they go, oh, we're actually been looking for the sitemap.xml file, we found it, let's go through it. Now we have a clear roadmap of where we need to check your website. The other thing that I think that's important is that depending on how popular your website is, the number of visitors, and the physical size of your website, just because you create a sitemap doesn't mean that Google is going to index every single page right away. Is that correct?
That is correct, but you have the advantage. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is something that as far as I'm concerned, anybody who has a website must have a sitemap. I just want to make sure that we're being clear to people that just because you have a sitemap doesn't mean that Google is going to go through and index every single page, because they have billions of pages that they're indexing all the time, and therefore they may allocate, we got enough time to do 20 pages today for you, and that's it. However, they'll remember that, and when they come back, assuming you've made changes, give them a reason why they should come back. They might dig in another 20 pages and add those to the index.
Correct. You got it right.
Okay, perfect. All right, good. Woohoo! The last thing that we wanted to talk about, because we are running out of time, is what else should we do with this sitemap? And the big one for me is Google Webmaster Tools.
Yes, and I have it open. Let me see if I can organize myself. I'm looking for you, Ryan, right now. Okay, here you are. So I'm going to
do a screen share?
Yes.
Okay. And if you do not have Google Webmaster Tools, this is kind of just as important as having Google Analytics. So it's one of those things, if you're not sure, go check now. It's going to be google.com/analytics for the analytics side of it, and then google.com/webmastertools, plural.com, and that will get you to the webmaster. Now, you want to connect your Google Analytics and your Google Webmaster accounts together. Why does Google make two different things and make you connect them? I do not know. Why can't you just have one tool that has everything in it? I don't know, but Google likes to make things a little difficult. Make sure you have your Google Webmaster Tools, and it looks like, oh, I saw it. There it is. So what do we do once we actually have this sitemap uploaded to the website? We log into our Google Webmaster Tools, and
you go to Crawl, which is on your left-hand side menu bar, and then there will be a sitemap section. There's a red button here that says Add Test Map. You put down the name of your sitemap. It should be sitemap.xml. This is the standard, and there's no reason to be fancy there. Right. Then you can just click Submit Sitemap.
One caveat with that. I use a Yoast plugin for sitemaps, for SEO and sitemaps on WordPress, and he does use a different extension. So it's not just sitemap.xml, it's something else. So make sure if you are on WordPress, if you're using the Yoast tool, don't just assume that it's sitemap.xml. Go to your website and find out exactly what that URL is. Actually, can you do that real quick? You went on the contractor's website. Can you just go .com/xml or sitemap.xml?
Yes, hold on there. Yes.
And the reason why we're doing this is to verify that the file's there, because if there's no file and you send it to Google, it's not going to look good.
Yeah, and it's how it looks. Very simple. You can recognize your page's name, like if they have a page name safety. The
Right.
frequency is weekly, as you can
Yeah.
see.
So all we want to make sure is we're not getting a 404 error or something weird. And if it looks coded, now also depending on how your sitemap is created, it may look different, but as long as you have information there, that's the important thing.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then if we can go back to Google Webmaster Tools, and then we're gonna 86 this conversation because we're going over by a couple minutes as usual.
Okay, sir.
That's why I'm talking super duper fast.
Okay. You see it now? Yes.
I see it now. So you went in and you did add test sitemap. If you verified what the sitemap is, you don't need to test it. You just need to add it.
Correct. And they have a test. Yeah, again, you can test it as well. But so this is a small site. It currently only has 18 pages, and that shows you then 18 pages were submitted today.
All right, perfect. And so the advantage to submitting a sitemap is you are plugging all your websites directly into Google's database. And if you want to be found in Google, I always recommend that you play in their arena. So Google Webmaster Tools is definitely a place that you want to be. Upload, create, upload, and then make sure you let Google Webmaster Tools know what that XML file is. With that, Virginie, I'm going to cut this because we're a few minutes over. I do appreciate your time, as always, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.
That sounds good. Well, thank you, and have a great weekend as well.
Thank you
Bye.
very much, and I look forward to our next conversation next Thursday, where actually I take that back. Next Thursday, we should probably take the day off.
Yeah, have a turkey or ham or
Why
both.
not?
I'm going for both.
Go be with family. You, especially you, because I know you're a workaholic. I hope you take some time off and spend it with your family on Thursday.
Yes, Dad, I will.
And to everybody else out there, hope you all have a great Thanksgiving next week. We will be back the following week in December. Take care.